Hello and welcome. Across the Muslim world, his songs of faith and spiritual renewal have made him a multi-million album bestseller. But he says that his message of peace is one that crosses all religious and cultural boundaries. This week on 101, meet the world-famous composer and musician, Sami Yusuf. He was born in Tehran to Azeri parents, but grew up in London, quickly developing an interest in music through the influence of his composer and musician father. Before long, the young Sami Yusuf was proficiently playing a number of instruments and started to gain a good understanding of how music varies with cultures and geographical influences. His first album, Al-Mu'allim, released in July 2003, brought him to prominence with a strong flavour of modern Muslim philosophy. This, along with his second album, My Ummah, in 2005, resonated with millions across the globe, looking to express their faith in a way that was uplifting and progressive. Although Sami Yusuf is clear about his own beliefs, saying he spiritually awakened to Islam at the age of 16, he believes that religion should remain free of politics. The singer's third album, Without You, followed a bitter dispute with his original management company, but the singer has effectively used the internet to keep his huge, loyal international fan base aware of all his projects, charity work, and ideas for new songs, which in the case of Sami Yusuf are always eagerly awaited. Sami, it was a real pleasure to talk with you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, it's a pleasure. Now, let's get this out the way first. You don't like being called an Islamic singer. Why?
Islamic singer, I mean, it has connotations, you know, it's like somebody who's like a Christian singer or a Jewish singer. I'm a musician, you know, I compose, I make my own music, I produce my own stuff, and I keep on saying this time after time, you know, I'm proud to be Muslim, but I'm an artist who's a Muslim. I don't know why, it's perhaps the repertoire, you know, the music that I've sung in the past, Hasbi, Rabbi, Jallallah, Al-Mu'allim, because it's quite explicitly religious and referring to kind of spiritual and religious topics. People have this, or companies like to pigeonhole you and put you in a box. But in reality, I'm just, you know, I love music. I breathe music, sleep music, eat music.
Can dressing cool and being hip and being sort of trendy, and does that contradict Islamic rules in any way? And you know, like some people say, singing is something that's sinful in Islam.
I don't know. I'm not a sheikh. You know, I'm not a religious cleric or scholar. But you know, there's this wonderful quote. You know, it's a hadith that God is beautiful and He loves beauty. So, how could anyone have a problem with something that looks nice, something that looks decent, respectable, and cool, you know?
You play about 9 or 10 instruments, you sing in languages from Arabic and English to Hindi and Turkish. How does that shape the way you compose, having all that at your disposal?
I think it all boils down to my love of people. I love people and I love to learn about cultures. And when I sing in Hindi or in Azeri or in Turkish or in Farsi or in Arabic, Arabs think I'm an Arab, you know, and Turks think I'm Turk. And I've had a lot of people say, you know, I'm Pakistani or Hindi. I try to do it as well as possible, you know, because it comes from the love of people, love of cultures. And I just, you know, I love to sing and learn about different cultures and sing in different languages.
So who do you write your music for? Who do you have in mind?
Well, I think my first two albums, Al-Mu'allim and My Ummah, Al-Mu'allim is more or less kind of, it's a spiritual album. I'd even go one step, it's an Islamic album talking about Allah and talking about the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But when you move on to My Ummah, it's more humanitarian orientated, it's more kind of inclusive. Everyone can, or different people can hear it and they kind of relate to it.
You're something of a phenomenon. I mean, you've sold millions of albums, you've packed out concerts across the world. What is it, do you think, that you represent to your fans? What is it that you know, really appeals to them?
I don't know. I'm youngish, you know, I don't kind of go out of my way to look too hip, maybe a bit hip, but not too hip, no, over the top, you know. I don't use, you know, my video clips or my songs don't have sexual connotations like the majority of pop songs. And I think generally around the world there's this surge or this kind of wave of people connecting with their spiritual side, and they want to hear decent stuff. You know, they want to hear. When I say decent, I mean things that don't necessarily have sexual connotations. Don't necessarily positive. Yeah, positive songs, good melodies, and most importantly, good messages and good words. And this is nowhere more will you find that than in the Arab world, especially in the Middle East and Turkey and in the Arab world. They kind of want to hear something that they can relate to.
You're a fan of U2. How do you feel about the comparison when people say you're the Islamic Bono?
Wow, I'm a big fan of Bono. You know, he's a great guy. I remember hearing something from him. He said it was Women's Day in America, and he said, "Look, we celebrities are given too much credit. You know, I'm not a hero. You know who's a hero? The firemen, the teachers, all those people who sacrifice their lives every single day, every morning, every afternoon, night, and we don't give them credit. They should be here speaking." And he's an amazing guy. You know, he's somebody that I really respect and hope to work with one day.
Well, let's take you back. You were born in Tehran, in Iran. You have roots that you trace back to Azerbaijan, Azeri roots, and you grew up in London. Quite a mix there. How did that shape you?
Very confused.
That's confused you.
And no, I mean, it's difficult. You know, when I was growing up, I had so many different. I go home, to this Azeri family, speaking Azeri, with with the Persian music in the background and Turkish music in the background, and then we have outings, and there'll be so many different people there, and there'd be Persians speaking in Farsi, and they're all mixed together. And then I had Kurdish friends, and I'd be honest, growing up in London, 13, 12, when you're kind of hitting the teenage years, one does get confused. It's not difficult. But for me, if I were to kind of define who I was in a nutshell, I'd say, British and Muslim, because that's why, that's how I kind of connect with.
Yeah, you say you're a proud Brit. So I mean, you have the loyalty, I guess, to your what became your home.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. Look, some people might see that and say, "Oh, sell out," as it is. Oh, it's not. It's not that. Look, I want to be the person I am. If I didn't grow up in London, if I didn't go to Acton High School, if I didn't, grow up in Ealing and walk in those streets and mingle with those people and meet people like yourself and meet people like my friends in school, I would not be the person. Maybe I'd be dead somewhere. I don't know. But one has to be grateful about where they're from, where they grew up, and London's always going to be home.
We were neighbours. I grew up in Hounslow.
Yeah, I was in Ealing.
Now, tell me about your parents. The influences they had on you.
Oh, definitely. My dad. My dad is my hero, especially when it comes to music. This guy, I mean, he's not. People don't know what he looks like. He's not very. He doesn't like fame, and he embedded that kind of feeling in us as well. He didn't want us to be in the spotlight, and his son kind of broke that rule. But he's an amazing human being and and I say this not because he's my dad. He's an amazing artist. I have not met someone so multi-talented. Whether it's his lyrics, his poetry, his compositions, he's just a fantastic all-round artist. Fantastic.
And your mother?
She's an artist too.
Yeah, so you had that in the family, because I know you're essentially a very musical family.
Yeah, very musical.
Now, obviously the career path they had for you wasn't pop star.
Definitely not.
What was it?
So my mum wanted me to be a doctor, and my dad wanted me to. He said, "Look, if you want to get into music, no problem. Go into the academic side of it. Just excel in the academic side, just like a typical Asian, Middle Eastern kind of."
They love their children to be called doctor, and you are actually officially now a doctor. Yeah. You have a doctorate now.
Yeah, I can't believe it. My mum, I'm happy for my mum. I'm happy for my dad. They were so proud. My mum cried, and that's a great honor. It's a great privilege.
Did you ever get any comments because you married a woman from Bavaria, one of the more Christian parts of Germany as well?
Conservative parts of Germany.
Conservative, yeah. And although she did convert to Islam, but do you ever get any comments about that?
Well, I don't really get into the personal stuff and private side of my life. But the one or two people have commented. It's been okay. It's been okay.
You are quite a private person, ironically, for your success. You're quite shy about your fame. And I wonder how you cope with the fact that, of course, you have so many fans and they want to know so much about you. How do you deal with the publicity and what is, to some degree, a push into your privacy?
I think when people want to pigeonhole you, or when people think they know you, when you, just because you see a video clip or you see, you hear a song, okay, that is part of me, but there's a lot you don't know, you know. I'm a human being, you know. I'm not perfect. I'm not, because my video clips are very kind of, you know, they're kind of, I don't know, it's kind of very romanticized, and I'm this utopian perfect guy, and I'm helping everyone. I like to think I'm like that, you know, but to a degree, but I'm not perfect, you know. So it has the downside of my work, to an extent, is when people have this image of you, like Neo can get away with anything he wants, you know. But if Sami Yusuf seen with chewing gum, it's undignified. Shame on him, you know. How dare he? But you know, I'm just a simple, normal guy. I love my work. I believe in my work, and I just want to be free to share my story, you know, with everyone.
Well, Sami, I have more to ask you in just a moment. We're going to take a short break here. More one-on-one with Sami Yusuf in a moment.